All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Entrepreneurs Deck. We're so excited to have you on board. This is our very first module, Who is an Entrepreneur? And I hope that everyone is as excited as we are today. So I would request everyone to please switch on their videos if possible, really quick. We're waiting for a couple of more participants first.
We'll start at 3:15.
Yes, let's just wait for a couple of minutes. All right, everyone, can you please turn on your cameras? So we have a couple of announcements to make first. On Saturday, that is tomorrow, you will be receiving an email from Victoria. She will attach the recording to this session and a post-session form. You must fill in the form to receive a certificate of participation, and there will be no exceptions. There will be one part of this form that asks for a word of the day. This word will be mentioned by Smith at a random point in this session. So when he says it, remember to write it down so that you don't forget. You must fill it in order to get the certificate. This word of the day is your proof of participation. If possible, fill in the form as soon as you get the email. Don't put it off. Deadline for every session's post session is 3 days after it is sent, so that you make sure you don't miss the deadline. So for this module, the deadline is Tuesday. Check the form description for details when you get it. Another announcement is that only after all modules are done will we send out the post-module documents with extra readings and information, as well as the certificates. As in, you will not receive all of these materials before 12th of September. So please be patient, as our team needs time to put these materials and certificates together. We will not entertain anyone who DMs us before 12th of September asking for a certificate. All right. So as you all know, our first session, our first module is Who is an Entrepreneur for the Entrepreneurs Deck. Entrepreneurs Deck is basically a student-led initiative that has come up by students across the country and abroad, aiming to help students realize their true potential as an entrepreneur. We want to prepare young individuals for what the future holds for them in the entrepreneurial world. We have certain Zoom etiquettes as well that we'd like you to follow. Please keep your mic muted, video on if possible. We would actually really encourage that so that we can see you. If you want to ask any questions to the hosts, to the co-hosts, or even to the guest speakers who are coming today, click the participants tab at the gray colored bar at the bottom of your screen. You will see a few round buttons. Click the blue hand, which is the raise hand feature. Use the social icons, which include clap and thumbs up for any immediate reactions. If you have any technical issues, click the speech bubble icon for the chat and send a private chat to our co-host, who we will introduce right now. He's Mr. Srijan Giri from Delhi. Also, you can use the chat when you take part in a quick discussion or post a quick comment. So if you have any questions for our guest speakers, you can immediately type on your question in the chat box and we'll give you a chance to ask them directly. All right. Let's quickly give a quick introduction of ourselves as well. I'm Anushka Wahi. I'm from Surat, India.
And I'm Kyari Shah, and I'm from Surat, India too. And today's co-host, as we already said, is Srijan Giri.
Hi, Srijan.
Hi guys, I'm from Noida, India.
So let's break the ice and make this space a little bit familiar. So I would want everyone to use their chat box and write, where are you from and what time is it there?
And make sure you send it to everyone and not us privately. Quickly, where are you from and what time is it there?
Hi, Anushri. Hi, Victoria.
Okay, we have people from many places. There's Myanmar, there's Mumbai, Surat. There's someone from Kenya. Oh God, there's someone from Vancouver. Wow.
A lot from Surat.
Yeah, a lot of them from Surat. Someone from New Delhi. Great. It feels so good actually to have such a diverse crowd, people from outside India as well. Pretty exciting. All right.
So, who do you think is an entrepreneur? You guys can use your mic. You can raise hand. That's like in the bottom.
Anybody, since this
Yeah.
is actually the main session, who is an entrepreneur? So, who is an entrepreneur according to you? It could be very short a description.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, Dharam.
So I think that an entrepreneur is the one in his group who tells everybody what to do.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes,
Entrepreneur is someone who monetizes a business in such a way to maximize the output. Like if a business sells vegetables, then an entrepreneur will sell probably a juice, which would be much higher in cost, but the same input materials.
Okay.
interesting. Mayank.
Right. So I wanted to say, so what I feel an entrepreneur is, that he's a person or she's a person who finds a gap in the market and tries to fill it using various ideas, various techniques, marketing strategies and stuff, uh, and come up with the solution that helps not only people from one particular area, but the general public in the very sense. Yeah.
All right. So, Mehak also says that the founder of a business or an enterprise, right?
Dipit says someone who wants to bring a change in society or some kind of developmental product.
Is there anyone else who wants to speak up? Someone who's self-employed. All right. Great. Anybody else? There
So
was
there are people with raising hands.
yes.
Yes, I am.
So I think entrepreneurs is an individual who creates a business and he takes risks for the business and also enjoys most of the rewards of that business.
Right.
Very true.
Great. So we have a lot of different perspectives coming in here. All right. Good. So it's actually so nice to see that all of you have these different ideas. I don't think any of you were repetitive at all. So that's good.
Do we have any more responses?
I don't think so. Okay, let's move on to the next question.
Yeah, then. So the next question we have is, what according to you is the one quality that an entrepreneur must have?
Yes. Anyone? Leadership. Yes.
I
Okay,
love
there are a
it.
lot of answers here.
Yeah.
Lots of creativity. I think there are about 5 people who've written creativity. So yes, a lot of creativity is involved.
Also leadership, like that's the main.
Patience. Then there's the ability to listen. Yes, very true. Consistency and commitment. Risk takers. Analytical mindset. Yeah. Okay. Great. Anyone who wants to speak up their answer? Leadership, creativity, he should be able to manage everything. Yes, very true.
Very true.
And our last response was management skills. Yes, of course. Great. All right. So we'll move forward now with our session because I think everybody has a very good idea of what, according to them, an entrepreneurship have as a quality. And I think you will be able to identify most of these qualities in the 3 people who are coming here today. Okay.
So we just want to, before starting, we just want to know what are your expectations from the session?
Anyone? You can switch on your mics and speak.
So I was in this lockdown and I had a hell lot of ideas to begin with. So I was not getting any clarity. So I thought that a program like this will really bring shape to my ideas and give me the way forward on how would I implement it after I get out of this lockdown also.
That's actually really true. I'll tell you this thing that happened with me. Since we were in lockdown here in India for these 2-3 months, I came to introspect my own self and understand that post, you know how there was a pre-Geo period and a post-Geo period? Similarly, there's now a pre-COVID period and a post-COVID period. And everything, every business, every aspect is going to be changed with respect to COVID-19. So we, as students of the generation, I think we have the best opportunity right now to come up with new ideas and be as creative as we can. And we need to grab this opportunity. So which is why I think Entrepreneurs Deck was planned also at a perfect time. I mean, there couldn't be a better time for this event to take place. Anybody else? What are your expectations from this session today? Anyone, come on. Vedahi, would you want to tell us?
So yeah, like what the previous the child spoke. Similarly, I also have many ideas, creative ideas that I would like to pursue them, turn them into use it to turn them into and become an entrepreneur. So yeah.
That's great. Anyone else? We have Madhav. Madhav, could you let us know what is your expectation from today's session? Jia, Madhav, Mehak, anybody who would want to answer.
It would be great if you guys could use the mic. It would be more interactive.
Yes,
for all of
exactly.
us.
To know what is it like to be an entrepreneur. Yes, you're actually, see the difference between sessions that take place at school and what we are going to have today over here is this is not about what's taught to you in textbooks. It's about how listening to these people who've been through that educational phase that we are going through right now and have actually done their enterprise or their business in reality. So we'll be getting so much to listen about their hands-on experience. And this is experiential knowledge. It's not textbook knowledge that we're going to be getting here. Okay, great. Someone's mentioned that I already knew that this session was going to be fun. So good to know already. Thank you. Anybody, really quick. Okay, Mehak says that practical knowledge is what I expect from all the sessions instead of bookish one. Yes, very true. Anybody? Victoria, can you tell us what are your expectations from this session? Yes, Victoria? It's going to be great. Okay. I expect to just have fun. So do we. All right. We'll move on.
So let's introduce today's speakers.
All right.
Okay, so we've got Mr. Rohan Vansali. So he's an investment banker turned entrepreneur who co-founded Gozoop. So Gozoop is India's largest independent digital agency, which is present in India and UAE. He's also the founder of One Small Step Foundation, which is a social business incubator. And yeah.
All right, so we move on to our next speaker. Our next speaker is Mr. Nishkarsh Arora. So Nishkarsh was born in a family dealing with ice creams for years. 26-year-old Nishkarsh Arora is a fitness enthusiast, a calisthenics athlete, a dancer, and a rock climber. Knowing the best of both worlds, he envisioned the idea of a guilt-free ice cream that would satisfy your cravings without denting your healthy routine. In 2015, he eventually launched his own company called the Koozies Ice Cream, India's first whey protein ice cream, with the vision to reinvent people's perception of ice cream consumption, with every day being a healthy cheat day. So basically, this idea came to Nishkarsh a couple of years ago because he tried to combine his passion for fitness and also his cravings, as we mentioned earlier. So it's really about his personal passion that he incorporated in another field. So I think we're all really going to be excited to hear about what he has to say about mixing your passion into another field of business. So our next speaker is Mr. Vaibhav Khanna. Now, chartered accountant by profession, but an entrepreneur by choice. Vaibhav Khanna started his career with KPMG in 2011. He then moved to a boutique consulting firm, working very closely with the founders. In helping them understanding their business better through numbers, he also co-founded a mobile pet grooming service called the Flying Fur in Delhi, India. Flying Fur Mobile Pet Grooming is a full service grooming salon that comes right to your door. All services are performed inside their state-of-the-art mobile grooming salon. Along with such successful startups, he also founded the Easy Stays. Now, Easy Stays is a fully managed co-living space for students in Delhi, NCR, and Bhopal. What makes Easy Stays different is the kind of services that they provide, from a range of housekeeping to the gymnasium and their tech-enabled library. So what we understand by this is that Mr. Vaibhav Khanna already has two very successful up and running businesses going on right now, and two completely different fields. So one's pet grooming, the other is co-living space for students. So what we're expecting from him is to share and throw some light on these different aspects, how he's been able to manage these businesses simultaneously, and what has been his wonderful journey. So I think we have our speakers here.
Before that, a lot of new participants have joined, so let's review the.
All right, yes. Let's just go back to our announcements. You'll be, all right, on Saturday, that is tomorrow, you will be receiving an email from Victoria. She will attach the recording to this session on a post-session form. You must fill in the form to receive a certificate of participation, and there will be no exceptions. There will be one part of this form that asks for a particular word of the day. Now, this word is going to be mentioned by Smith, who's our founder, at some random point in this session. So when he says it, don't forget it. Remember to write it down. You must fill it in order to get the certificate. This word of the day is going to be like your proof of participation. So if possible, fill in the form as soon as you get the mail. Don't put it off. Deadline for every session's post session is 3 days after it is sent. So make sure that you do not miss this deadline. So for this particular module, that is who is an entrepreneur, the deadline is going to be Tuesday. Check the form description for details when you get it. Also, only after all the modules are done will you be getting, and after we send out the post module documents with the extra reading info is when you will get your certificates. As in, you will not receive them, all these materials, before 12th of September. And please be patient. Do not keep DMing us about the same. You'll get it on 12th of September. All right. And about Zoom, please keep your mic muted. Please keep your videos on if possible, so that we can see you and it can be as interactive as possible. And if you want to ask the host a question, you click on the participants tab. There's going to be a raise hand feature. If you have any technical issues, you can contact Srijan via private chat, who's our co-host, and tell him about whatever technical issues you're facing. And yes, I think that's it. Let's start.
Also, during the session, if you have any questions, you can use the chat box and we'll cater to them.
Yes.
Do we have all the three?
Let's just see. We actually have Mr. Vaibhav Khanna here. Hi, sir. Everybody could just wave, I guess.
Hello.
All right.
Thank
We're
you,
just
guys.
waiting for our other two speakers to join us real quick. All right. Sir, could you actually introduce yourself a little for the students till the time we wait?
Sure. Like you would have read, I'm a chartered accountant by profession. I did my graduation from Delhi University. Subsequent to that, started working with KPMG. My first experience was very traditional in terms of business. My uncle's business is in Chandni Chowk. I don't know if there are a lot of international students here who would not really associate in terms of what that market is. It's a very traditional Indian kind of a business that they were running. While I was in college, that was my first stint with the actual business. Subsequent to that, I joined KPMG, worked there for about 4.5 years, and then joined a boutique consulting company where the entire idea of starting something of my own came up about. I've been involved. I started working with a lot of entrepreneurs. In my time when I was working at that organization, worked with them very closely. Some of very successful startups of that time and even today. spent time understanding how they're running their business, and subsequent to that is when I felt that I am not someone who just wants to get into the be in the consulting business, rather than start something of my own. That is when we started Flying Fur initially, which is in the pet grooming space, which is a small project, more of a passion project that I did with another founder of mine. Uh, we started that off as a single grooming van out of Delhi. We currently at about 10 grooming vans. We started franchising out. We had someone else also come in and as a partner who runs the largest pet events company in India. He has a Rimka Book of Records holder. As in when he joined Flying Fur, that is when I kind of took a back step because I wanted to start something else. I got into this interested in the student housing space, looking at the sheer number and size of the entire market, and I firmly believe that it is important to kind of focus on one project at a time if you really want to make it successful. Uh, so then I started my students housing company about a year and a half ago. We've done quite well. I mean, in terms of if the COVID-19 hadn't hit, it would have been a different ball game. But even then, despite the whole pandemic, we've still been able to increase our demand, increase actually our capacity by more than 3 times of what we were when we started initially in our first year. We've been able to raise some money from really marquee investors. It's been a great journey. I mean, I think the entire process, right from my college days when I started working with my family business to what I'm doing right now. I think every step has really helped me in understanding of how to kind of uh, do something of your own. And I mean, I am quite excited to kind of share the journey with the future budding entrepreneurs. We are a family of all finance professionals in my house, and all we do is discuss business ideas. Or our dinner table conversations are only regarding businesses and what news happening and what all is happening in the entire. I mean, on a global level and in India level. So I mean, quite interesting. I'm really happy to see you guys taking up this whole project on the entrepreneurs deck. Uh, Happy to be a part of it.
Thank you so much, sir. That was actually a very, very good description that you've mentioned here about your business, about your journey. And I'm sure that everyone's really excited to know in depth about how you made all of this possible. So we understand by that you started at a very young age. And I think it's because of the influence of your family. I think, like you mentioned, that you're all finance professionals, is when I think it got it in you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So my father's also a chartered accountant. I have two younger brothers, both of them in finance. One just started his MBA at IIM Lucknow, the other's from Narsee Munji. When I actually, we are a family where my father has his own practice. He started his own practice. My uncle does his own business though it's in Chandni Chowk, but I mean the sheer massiveness of the business is huge. Uh, I started when I started working at KPMG. I mean, I always felt that it was the business that interested me more rather than the whole. I was part of the audit space than just the process that I was doing. That is when I mean the trish that I had with the boutique consulting firm really helped because I was responsible in starting a new division there, which was specifically targeted to startups. I worked with a lot of entrepreneurs. I don't know if you know of 91 Springboard, which is one of the largest co-working spaces out of India. They basically built their business model in our office. So I was kind of very deeply involved with them. Worked with a few
So,
even
I'm sorry, sir. Was
yeah,
KPMG your first job?
yeah, KPMG was my first job.
Okay.
KPMG was my first. So it was basically as part of my CA practice. You have to do an articleship. So that is where I started,
But
and
then you
then post.
started off pretty big.
So yeah, so I mean, I've been very lucky. The CEO of KPMG at that point in time is right now an investor with Easy Stays. So he retired, and right now he's kind of a mentor and a guide for us at Easy Stays also. So it was very interesting. I mean, right from the part wherein we started Flying Fur, we were the first ones to do that in India. There was something that was started some time back that had to shut down, but we did it with a very different kind of a mindset. Uh, and when we started, we understood what were the key aspects that are important in running that business. Gave good deal of importance on then in terms of you realize that I mean it's a cliche like saying that customers are king, but that is what once you start doing a B2C business, you realize that there's a lot of flag that you get from a lot of customers. Some of it, a lot of times, not really warranted, but you have to take it in your stride. In terms of the entire process, it was a very operations heavy business. How we involved technology in it, how we understood the different aspects of the business, and then helped it scale. That really helped me to kind of take in the next step of doing Easy Stays. I actually, even before Blankfur, I was also a consultant for another business, which was kind of ahead of its time. I know if you guys have heard about Go Mechanic, which is a fairly large company, Sequoia funded company, which does is in the car repairs and services space. We had a similar idea. We executed on that idea, but it was, I think, slightly earlier than when the market was kind of ready for it. It was also a great business. We were deeply involved in the entire process of setting it up, and I think it's a very exciting journey when you try and do something of your own. It really brings about the passion that you might not have while you're doing a job. But there are some people who do jobs also very passionately. But in terms of trying to set up something of your own and then being recognized for it, kind of really builds your confidence. Flying Fur, because it was a unique concept. Yeah.
Also does really evolve you as a person. When you
absolutely.
start doing your own business, when you start running things yourself, take up so much responsibility yourself, it does make you a whole different person.
No, absolutely. I mean, you start, so you'll realize that smaller things become very important. People skills are very important. You need to be very disciplined and structured in the way that you want to start working, because yes, you can work out of a mom and pop shop with, I mean, a kind of, if you don't want to scale, you can run one shop in the manner that you want to. But if you really want to kind of scale and take the business forward, you would have to kind of include all the discipline and the structuring and all that is necessary for businesses. Actually, that really helped me because we were consulting with a lot of other businesses, and we would really come in when those startups were. So when you start up, right, you are not very, you don't know everything. I mean, you're still learning in the journey. There are a lot of smaller nuances that you do not focus at, because at that point in time, there are other aspects of the business. I mean, in terms of getting the right product out, finding whether there's what is the target audience for that product, whether there's the right fit, and I mean, just scaling on the sales and all of that. You kind of don't want to structure your processes. You don't look at the finance side or the legal side of it. That is when we came in, helped a lot of startups which were kind of quite messy from their financial side and stuff like that. So I kind of got a very inside view of the whole industry while I was working, and that really helped me. I mean, in terms of, yes, there is a process of either you learn while you are in the, I mean, you can learn swimming two ways, right? You can learn it outside, get the techniques, and then jump into the pool, or you directly jump into the pool. I mean, it's your choice. But I mean, I felt that really helped me in terms of trying to build on my businesses.
That's great, sir.
I think we have all the three speakers now.
We can
Thank you.
actually move on. So we can actually move on to Mr. Rohan. Could you please give us like a brief introduction about yourself and your business?
Sure. So you can call me Rohan. I feel more welcome. Actually, lovely to be amongst everyone here. I was just listening to what the other panelists were sharing, and I could resonate so much with that. Is it okay if we let this screen go and so that people can just see me? Is that fine?
Yes.
Yeah,
One
sure.
second.
That's okay. Yeah. So then I can see you all, because I can't see if I'm boring you or keeping you all engaged there. Okay, this is great, and I can see some of your faces. Yeah. So you want me to just take you briefly through my just story and journey? Is that just to set?
Tell me about your business and what you do.
Okay, so let me start with, this is many moons ago, 2007, so fresh out of college. I believe most of you guys are in college.
We've got students from grade 6, sir, grade 6 to grade 12.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. So this is back in 2006. Post my college, I took up a job in investment banking. I love finance. That comes very naturally to me. And I was with JP Morgan. And as part of my job, what we would do is companies from Korea and Taiwan, we would help them, raise money. So do an IPO, or do a public listing or do a follow on or a rights issue there. So that was a fantastic job. I think I was very blessed then to have a great team and learn so much. But I think like most of you all on this call, there was this inkling of always doing something on my own there. And this was, I remember since 8th standard, that's the earliest memory that I had. I guess because I also come from a business family, so that, helps in setting that vision there. But I didn't know what I wanted to do. And this was 2008. And I remember I was in Hong Kong and I was speaking to my boss. He's Korean, Ken Kim. And 2008, some of you all would know, is when the recession sort of, hit us. I guess most of you all were born in 2008. So I think I can safely say that since you said 6th standard there. And that's when I was 23. And I come from a traditional Gujarati family. So, when you're 23, there starts getting pressure on marriage and things like that. So I said, before the pressure just rises, let me experiment if I can, start off something on my own. And so I spoke to my boss and I said, if it fails, will you take me back? And he said, yes. I don't know if he was just trying to be nice or if he was honest about it. And that's where I remember October 2nd, 2008 is when I moved out of JP Morgan. But learned so much. I'm so grateful for that organization for sort of teaching me so much work-wise, but also, as Vaibhav was saying, that you also evolve as a human being, right? With the people you work with and the organization that you work with there. And we didn't know what we wanted to do then. And my friend and partner, Ahmed Kyari, knows Ahmed, I believe. We had earlier thoughts of doing branded Nimbu Pani. This was before Nimbus, the drink came in the market. And remember, we used to go to the railway stations and we would, do surveys. Ki, din mein kitna limbu pani bechte hai aap, and what is your
actually did that primary research.
Yeah. We had to, right, when you're starting off there. But while we were doing that, and we had some other ideas, I still have that book. It's an idea which has 13 sort of business concepts. While we were doing that research, one of my friends wanted a e-commerce website, basically. And so we said, okay, to get some cash flows going, because it's difficult when you have a salary and suddenly now you don't have cash flows coming in. So we said to just earn some money, why don't we do this on the side until we come up with a big idea, until we settle on a big idea there. And that's when we started getting into, app development and e-commerce development and tech basically there. I had no skill in that, but Ahmed knew how to code. So throughout my career, I keep on telling my team that I have no particular skill, but what I'm good at is working with people who are very, very talented and then making the best out of that there. So that one project led to another project, and it's just 2008-9 when e-commerce in India is really picking up there. So at one point we were the sort of agency partner for maybe 7 out of 10 of the most renowned e-commerce names, and some of them are shut now, but I don't know if you'll remember Deals and You, Fashion You, Quicker, Shadi.com, the Groupon India, which is now, I think it's So Sasta, I think they've changed the name now. So we became the agency for digital e-commerce companies at that point there. What then happened is 2011 is when all these e-commerce companies stopped getting funded, right? So these are all VC-backed companies, right? And they stopped getting funding. And 80% of our revenue then came from e-commerce. So that really hit our revenues and our sort of top line, and hence our bottom line. I'm sure Vaibhav and Nishkarsh will be able to resonate that when you're too dependent on one or two clients, that's not a good place to be. And that's where I learned this beautiful word called diversification, which wasn't in my dictionary earlier. And it seems very simple and straightforward, but I guess sometimes when you're working, you just sort of have that closed vision, and you're just going with the flow many times. So that's when we then said, okay, we got to diversify geographically and we got to diversify beyond e-commerce. So our earliest client beyond e-commerce, one of our earliest clients, is this company called Mad Over Donuts. Maybe some of you all know about Mad Over Donuts. Yeah, so that's a brand, and Lokesh, the founder, is now a good friend. I know Nishkarsh is into ice cream, so he'll be able to resonate with the F&B play. But this is when Mad Over Donuts was starting. So this is one brand that we got to build from scratch, right to when they were very small to whatever they are, today. So we did, and we got different brands like, High Street Phoenix, which is in Mumbai. That's like a popular sort of mall. And then we had brands such as Gids Foods. So these were like small brands because we were a smaller agency now. Today we're well diversified, and we are the agency partner for a Dell, for a Asian Paints, for a Gulf Oil, for an Oppo Mobiles, and all these fancy names. So we're well diversified today. Another diversification that we did is geographic diversification. So earlier we were just focusing on India. 2011 we started our Dubai operations. 2013 we started our Singapore operations, and 2014 is, I believe, when we started in New York there. So we also diversified geographically. But while there is benefit in diversification, there's also an issue of over diversification when you spread yourself too thin, right? Because we realized that there was so much mind space going in there, and we were spending more time in just setting up things while our core business was getting affected. And so we said, okay, which are the markets that we can be the best at, right? And that depends on the entrepreneur, because you need to understand we were working with different entrepreneurs. As I said, one thing that I do well, and I'm a man of not many talents, but one thing that I do well is work with people who are really talented, and make that a sort of a working, good working, prosperous relationship. So in Singapore, we had this Italian girl, Valentina, who was leading our Singapore office. In New York, we had two Jewish boys, Leon and Mike, were leading our New York business there. And there was a lot of mind space that went in sort of setting up these things. It's not easy, right? Especially when you set up 3 geographies together, which was another mistake we made, sort of growing fast too soon. And then we sort of scaled back. We said, okay, which are the geographies which we think we can be best at? And we said India is one, and then there was Middle East, which was Dubai. So then we focused on these 2 geographies there, and then went deeper. Sometimes we focus, at least my vision was just to focus wide, like I want to be in all countries in the world. But I wasn't realizing the value of going deep and becoming the best at what you do there. So as a result of that depth, we then started acquiring companies in India. We acquired, I think, 4 agencies as of now who are competitors, and that's how we sort of scaled up. A lot of our clients, such as Dell, for example, is a client which was of this agency named Red Digital, which now we have acquired. So the Red Digital guys, have you heard of Dream 11? Some of y'all, the fantasy gaming app. So they went on to build Dream 11, and we had acquired their agency back then. And I'll come to today what we are, to keep it short. I think I overshot, but we help brands with their, we help build brands, and our purpose reads that helping brands and businesses win in the new world, right? Where so much is changing. And though we started digital, now we do things that are beyond digital also, which you may call mainline, which are the hoardings and the branding and logo making, TVCs, for example. So that's a bit about us. Thank you for listening.
That's actually really, really great, sir, to listen to. It actually makes what I was thinking when I was listening to you is, oh God, this guy's done too much in life. Because you've expanded to so many countries and you've met so many people. And I think your entire journey, it actually must have taught you so many things on the way. And because it seems pretty complex to me right now.
Yeah, no, I think I've been fortunate to sort of working with some really smart people. And I think luck also plays a major part in terms of how an organization grows. There was no business plan that we had saying we would do this. In fact, many times when we planned, we failed in those plans. And, there's this beautiful word called serendipity, right? Which is just like a beautiful accident that happens. So I really believe in hard work, but I also believe in sort of grace, sort of being a big part of the journey. So I think we were very fortunate to sort of, the right people came into our lives at the right time. And that led to, it's not like we went searching for, Valentina, for example, she read one of my PR stories, which I'd written on this portal called Your Story, I believe, some years back. And she had read it and she's reached out on LinkedIn. And that's how, the Singapore office started. So it's not like we went chasing this, but sort of things just happened on their own. Yeah.
Thank you. Can we have Mr. Nishkarsh?
Yes.
Could you just give us a brief introduction about
Cool.
yourself?
I'll keep it brief. By the way, hi everyone. I'm Nishkarsh, and I was listening to the other panelists, and it actually gave me a bit of a complex because I have never actually been into the corporate environment. But first of all, before I introduce myself, I'd like to just say that how good is this that people from 6th grade to 12th grade are attending this seminar. To be honest, when it's been ages since I've graduated from school. I didn't even I didn't heard the you know entrepreneurship when I was 6th grade, and I see these people quite sleepy, to be honest, but they are attending this. So good that this medium, which wasn't available back at my days. I'm just going to talk about my life journey and what made me want to start up. My brand is called Koozies Ice Cream. It's a whey protein ice cream brand. So I was a, if I talk about my childhood, I was a pretty nerd kid. I used to score somewhere around 99 in maths. Integration was my love. So I just trying to build up my credentials for this video conference. There's one thing which I've always done in my life, which is being creative and at the same time being productive. I never played a lot of video games because when I look and I have a conversation with kids who are in 6th grade right now, all they are involved in PUBG and all that stuff. I don't know how much will it help in their mental development, but frankly, I believe it's after a while it's a like waste of time. So I'll tell you how the koozies came into my life. So my family business is into ice cream, and when I was graduating college, there are a lot of while you're in school and while you are in college, you are in a safe umbrella. Enjoy this time. I can't stress upon it enough. Enjoy this time because there's sudden pressure, not from our parents, but our colleagues. They are getting their jobs and everything as soon as you leave your college. So my one tip to all of you out there is, even if you're in 6th grade, 12th grade, or you're heading to college right now, is work on some skill. It's even amazing if you can identify what that skill is at 6th grade, but keep on learning new stuff. Um, so I graduated my college, and I obviously, as a Punjabi family kid, I had that backup of family business. But that's not it. I have known a lot of people who have that backup of family business, and they just went there. They learn from their dad. Acha ye karna hai. Okay, I'll speak in English only. They just continued learning from the dads, and they didn't include any innovation into their work. So when I got into the business, since I was a topper kid, I used to talk to a lot of people who were talking about startup ideas. I invented and so a lot of businesses in India, and it's one of the backbone of our economy, the family businesses. So I saw a lot of need for growth. So I saw that all the work was paperwork. As you can see in any place, there's not a lot of automation. So first thing I realized was I needed to do something to make all the system automated. So me being a person who never had a corporate experience was thrown into a family business, and believe me guys, it's not all good and glamorous that you just got a backup, which is family business. You have to learn a lot of things on your own because I didn't have a team of uh, HR who would hire me people. So the thing is, when we're talking about entrepreneurship is, I don't know if you have an idea of entrepreneurship at this age, but even if you do, the thing about entrepreneurship is more than any theory which you will read in any book. If you want to try being an entrepreneur, you way too young. Just get into it. Launch some product. Like obviously, if it doesn't require a lot of investment. I love the fact that you guys are reading theories and reading books. But the thing, when you enter into the field and you learn, it's amazing. It's completely different. So yeah, that would be my one tip to you guys. If you want to do something, just jump into it. Do not think it. How old are you guys? 15, 16? It doesn't matter. Just 2 years of doing some real life work would be way more than some theory, with all due respect to all the theories. Other than that, I'm going to talk a little bit more about my ice cream brand. One thing which I would like to add on this is, so I got into the business on my own, learning stuff on my own. And during that time, since I didn't have any graphic designer in anything, I YouTube is something you guys should cherish at this moment. Like it does offer a lot of corporate information as well, but at the basic level, these are some of the skills you should learn. I'm just giving it to you. Some amount of graphic designing, Microsoft Office at your level, which is 6 to I remember in my childhood there were few designations or career choices which we were given. Either become a doctor or an engineer, and your life is sorted. But I'm serious, guys. My graphic designer, I pay him somewhere around 40-50K. So, and he's been doing graphic designing for the past 1 year. He's good. So just understand that even ever if you're concerned about a career choice, if you have just 2 to 3 years of a skill which is mandatory, and with the current situation in which digital media is a big thing, like as Rohan also said of the e-commerce thing, your social media is going to boost like anything. It's not going to fade out for the next 10 to 15 years. So if you have some skills such as graphic designing or some photography, these things have become more uh, common these days. So if you learn something like this, you have a secure job as far as I can see. One thing which happened in my life was while I was figuring all this stuff out, like every kid I see here, we have this little childish fantasy of becoming a star. So what happened in my life was, since I have an ice cream business, it's pretty much off season in winters. People don't eat a lot of ice cream in winters. So I got to give this audition for a show called MTV Roadies for people who like don't know about it. So it kind of pushed me away from my business, and I've learned a lot of stuff when I was on the show. Good for me, when I got back from the show, I got a lot of fame and everything. But somewhere in the back of the mind, I knew that before going to Roadies, I started this platform, which is Coozie's Ice Cream. I need to get back to it. So this, why I made this point right here is, a lot of people think this, which is your stardom or showbiz industry, is the shiz. Like if you have this, none of the other things matter. I wish if any one of you wants to become a star, go for it. But at the same time, understand, follow what you want. I knew at the back of the mind I wanted to business, and believe me, if you are a corporate, successful corporate person, you won't even feel like getting back into that industry. So why I'm speaking this point is, have self-awareness, and just saying that having self-awareness is not that easy. It's going to take years, maybe a decade, to finally understand, okay, I'm meant for this, I'm meant for this. So my last step and end of speech would be, you're young, whenever you get an opportunity, I don't know if there are internship programs at the age you are, just go for it. When I hire interns these days and they have applied for HR, I make sure they do some marketing, they do some content, they do some copywriting. So when you explore these 100 options, you'll automatically find out, okay, this is the one I love the most. So my one tip to all of you right now is explore, explore, explore. Whatever opportunity you get, you do not have the freedom to say, no, I don't find it interesting. Do it for 3 months and you'll know what you want to become in life. So that's more or less what I wanted to talk about.
Thank you, sir. I think you've pretty much covered our reason of calling students from grade 6 onwards, because you never know when the best idea just pops into your brain. You just actually have to understand what your skill is, what you're good at, and it does take time, but it's better to start early.
Yeah.
So before starting the questions, I would like to thank all of you who all are here. We've got participants from 17 different countries, and it gives us immense pleasure to have so many people believe in our project and come together. So I think the first question is, so what defines an entrepreneur in your opinion? Could we have Mr. Vaibhav sir first?
So I think entrepreneur is anyone who wants to do something for themselves. I mean, in terms of even at the age that the kids are currently, I think in terms of the opportunities that are available to them, it is about taking that first step. Not I mean sitting on your backside and just trying to let things happen. It's about really taking that step forward, even whether it is at the age that they're currently at, in terms of, like Nishkash mentioned, taking up a new skill. I mean, even wanting to just be the go-getter. That is something that feel what an entrepreneur is, and at this age, it is important to get those skills and learn and understand what you want to do.
That's great. Okay, can Rohan sir answer the same? Who is an entrepreneur in your opinion?
So, the word entrepreneur actually comes from a French word, and you said we have people from 16, 17 countries. I wonder if we have someone French. If we do, forgive my pronunciation, but the word is entreprendre. I don't know how you pronounce it, but I can share it on the chat for everyone's benefit. And it actually means to take initiative. That's it. It actually means to take initiative. So the way you guys have set this call up, right? I think Smith, Anushka, Kyari, and maybe the team. To me, also, that's entrepreneurship. Yes, now the definition of it has become sort of maybe running a business there, but it's really about taking initiative there. So for me, broadly, I define it, and I love saying it this way, and that's why I feel entrepreneurship is like magic, because I feel it's like creating something out of nothing. And that's, for me, is the most exciting sort of definition of entrepreneurship. Like how, for example, Vaibhav has started his pet grooming business, right? And there was nothing, and then he put this team together, he put these products together. Now he has customers, he has stakeholders, he has vendors. On Nishkash, set up this entire whey protein, ice cream brand of his there. We work with a plant-based, protein powder. It's called Ace Blend. I don't know if Nishkash, you're aware of it or not, but that was amazing. It's like that's not there, and we got these products to ingredients together, and we got packaging, we got a logo, we got a distribution chain, and it's almost like magic to me. So to me, that's what the essence of being an entrepreneur is.
Nishkash sir, could we have your?
First of all, I'll talk to you about that plant-based protein, like separately.
Yeah.
To me, like if you just go on and read a lot of bookish definition of entrepreneurship, it would be an idea and it getting executed. But I'm gonna tell you something which matters a lot more than the bookish knowledge. Me with my friends who are very ambitious, we come up with 10 different ideas like every day. Okay, this is the thing, this is the thing. Okay, let's invent this, not to even say that it's not possible to doing something like this, but the fact is I'm going to add a third angle to a entrepreneur, which is passion. So suppose the idea you have is great. Suppose if I go back in time and tell you, okay guys, it's 2008 and you can make your own Facebook, I'll hire you these people and these would be the best coders and you can make your own Facebook. But if you're not passionate enough, no, I don't think you'll give in that effort that will take it to $1 billion evaluation. So the first thing is, right now, you can go on YouTube and just type 100 new ideas which are undiscovered, and you're like, okay, let's make a toilet which has a gaming console, like something. But the fact is, one basic thing if you want to be an entrepreneur is you should not think of the ideas which have not been executed yet, because definitely you can come up with $1 billion idea, but if you're not passionate enough, then even getting maybe that $1 billion might not give you that happiness. Instead, getting on an idea which you want to fulfill from your heart, even if it pays less, would make more sense, which is my understanding. I don't know, I don't have $1 billion right now, but I'll be happy if I make less money with koozies. Instead, if I make some new product I have less knowledge about and I'm less interested in. The reason I started with whey protein ice cream is, number one, there was a family business which was making basic traditional ice cream. So there was some motivation. Then for a lot of people who don't know, I am a lot into athletics. So I'm a gymnastic, I'm a calisthenics person. I do rock climbing, I do slack lining, a lot of fitness related things. So when I see people who are avoiding ice cream saying that it has a lot of sugar, it will give me a fat, then I was like, okay, I love fitness, I have an ice cream background, let's merge this two and bring something. And at the same time, it's a new idea. not new idea internationally. There have been companies internationally who has this product for a while, even some of the Indian companies. But I knew for those who've been studying economics, the supply in India of whey protein ice cream is very less. Even the demand is very less. So understand one thing about entrepreneurship, no matter how glamorous it looks, and I'm an entrepreneur, to be honest, I don't want to create a false image. It's kind of a lonely process because it's all you. And you'll be lucky if you get some funding. But if it's a bootstrap, understand that even paying 15,000 to a graphic designer initially, it pinches you. So if you want to do entrepreneurship, make sure don't go for the best idea. Go for the best idea you're passionate about. That's about it.
Thank you, sir. That was very insightful. We'll move on to our next question now. Could you actually tell us that what are the processes that your product or service undergoes before reaching your final stage? So in the case of Nishkarsh sir, it's going to be your ice cream.
Okay.
So what processes happen before you reach with a cup of ice cream?
Okay. So first of all, luckily my thing, which is ice cream, it's very fun. Like everyone connects to it. Okay, you make ice creams, and then I launched this proposal of a whey protein ice cream. So everyone was like, "Yeah, this is what we need. You've done it." But understand, when I said I launch a whey protein ice cream, whenever you execute something new, there's a reason it hasn't been executed before. In my case, whey protein, when you add it into a ice cream mixture, it doesn't gel up well because whey protein is sour in taste. So if you try to increase the protein content, it becomes a little sour. So before making the product, it goes into a lot of R&D, which I am sure a lot of you know about. We'll try different samples, then different ingredients. Then it becomes a product in about 6 to 7 months. But this is just the product, and this is level this, and we have to get there. Before getting to the level of selling it, then comes legal formalities. Then you have to see if there are a lot of operation wise, supply wise, distribution chain is important in ice cream because supplying it is a bit difficult because it's a perishable product. So understand, even a classy idea, before you take it to the level of execution, there are a lot of stages. For me, it's R&D, operations, supply, having a distribution channel, and then at the end, because there's no demand of whey protein ice cream now. Right now, it's a very fascinating topic. So there's a lot of steps before you actually go to the execution. So if you're thinking of having something like that, have a lot of patience.
Right. Weber sir, what about you? Flankfur, tell us. What makes you reach to that final stage where you have a pet coming inside your mobile truck and you're getting things done? So what happens before that?
So I'm kind of I would like to kind of step back a bit. I think in terms of whenever it's a business, I think it's very important. I've seen it from a lot of people in terms of entrepreneurs who have a business idea is that they don't want to discuss it. They feel that your idea is unique, and if you tell other people that copy and stuff like that. I think it is important when you ever have an idea, when you want to start something, it's important to discuss it with a lot of people, get their inputs. The business process is kind of, and never be scared of the fact that okay, someone else is going to copy. Everybody has a lot of things that they're doing. It's all about execution. I think any idea, anybody who has it, I think a million people would also have it all over the world. So it's really about kind of executing. The process of getting that product out or that service is kind of very specific to every business, right? For us, I'm specifically only a business person. Like Nishkar said, that passion is important for me. My passion's business, right? Whether it is pets related, or it is ice cream related, or it is something else. I'm only concerned about how to get that product or service and get find the market, and whether that's you can kind of succeed in it. What is the right go to market strategy and stuff like that. For me, when we started the pet business, it was very important for me to get the right people to do that business. Like Rohan said that it's been great to listen to him and his journey. The fact that he said that he could manage the team well in terms of getting the right people. I think that's very important when you want to get something out. I realized that when you're looking at a pet business, it was very important to have someone who is kind of who would kill for a pet. I mean, the first person that we employed was kind of a pet activist. She catered to about 10 dogs in her house. She had 4-5 pets, and I realized that it was important to have her as the head, because we could go down the more businessy angle. Okay, this is what you want to charge, this is what the service is, and not really cater to the animal who's our customer at that point in time. So I made sure that she's the one who's in charge of it. We realized that operating it in a city like ours, Delhi, is a lot of traffic. Things go. I mean, if the truck is down for a day, you will not be able to operate. Right? It's a direct loss. I mean, or your drivers don't come, or the staff does not come, because it's a very different business to then a standalone kind of a business. So, I mean, it was important to get our operations in terms of the repairs and everything have something that also comes to your house to get it repaired, even whether it is late at night when the truck comes back. So stuff like that, that is what we figured out. We discussed it with a lot of people. We found their learned from their experiences, and that is when we took it out, and that is when we understood that okay, these are the elements that are required to get the business up and working. And fortunately we've been kind of doing it successfully. We've been able to scale on that.
Great. Before moving on to Rohan, sir, there's a question. If anyone has any question, you can write it on the chat box and we'll cater to them. So yeah. Yes, Rohan, sir. So what are the processes that's involved before your final service?
So before I answer, I'd just like to take a moment and say it's really amazing what you guys have sort of put together. I see so many young people. I see Vaidehi, Dharam, Prisha. I think it's fantastic. And you have people, HP, Victor, from different parts of the world beyond India. So it's amazing what you guys have, put together. Congratulations on that. To answer the question, I think Nishkarsh and Vaibhav, they put it beautifully. And I think their answer holds higher relevance to the question, because they are into the products business. I'm into the service business, so it's a different category, right? Product, you have to build it and then you go to market. Service is something that you do on the go, right? Because as your client, it's more B2B, so client gives you feedback, you can keep on sort of being, agile in it. So sort of in services, one thing that I read in a book, it says that, as you are building the road is building you. So a service business is sort of like that. Like you go with an idea, but then your client gives you feedback, so you keep sort of changing it there. But there is a product element to service too, and that is your people. That brings you back to your people, because when you go to any service industry or a hospitality industry, or you go to a Taj Hotels, there it is the people and the sort of the values and the sort of the characteristic that then reflects the brand there. So if you're running a service business, one sort of thing that has worked for me is, because earlier when we started, we didn't have a lot of money. And as Nishkarsh said, that every 15,000, 10,000 rupee hurts, right? When you don't have that cash flows and you're not funded there. And so we didn't have a choice, but we had to work with a lot of freshers, right? People who had never taken up a job early on. So we couldn't see their resumes and say, oh, this guy has this experience, this guy has this experience, or this girl has experience from here. But what we could see is, the values and the character of these people. And that's how we differentiate it. And we didn't know it then. We did it very naturally, or very subconsciously. But over time, what I've realized is the biggest ROI that I think GoZoop, our organization, has got is the ROI of culture. Getting the best people we can, celebrating their values, and also at the same time, sort of, for lack of a better word, getting off the people who don't resonate values. Not that they are good or bad people, but if the values aren't congruent, what I've realized is that the earliest that sort of tough decision is made, that's even better. So I think it's, as for a service business, it's the people that sort of are the product in a way, right? Because it is, we don't have anything tangible to give a client, except a group of people who work together and then come up with a campaign for Taj Hotels, or come up with a campaign for Kolkata Knight Riders there. So, yeah.
Thank you. So the next question we have is, how did the idea of starting something unique come across? So how did you find the gap in the market and initiate the process of starting something unique?
So I think we've already heard that from Nishkarsh sir as to how he had a background in ice creams already and his passion for fitness. So how he merged the two and came up with his idea. But Weber sir, what about you?
In terms of, I think uniqueness of a product is quite overhyped. I don't feel it's really about how unique your product is. It's about how efficiently and effectively you're able to kind of deliver on the service. There's really, I mean, we're blessed to be in India at a time when any product, any market, there is going to be enough space for someone to really come in. The market size is huge for anything to enter into. I mean, it is important, like Nishkar said. I mean, if you are, say, like from when I said I'm more passionate about building a business. So for me, it's not about. I mean, it's about understanding, getting that understanding of whether that product and where we wanted to deliver it on has enough capacity. I mean, the market sizing is big enough for us to deliver. It is important to kind of execute that product very efficiently. Uniqueness, yes, helps you in terms of, for us at Flying Fur, I think it really helped us from a marketing standpoint. We've never spent money on marketing when we started Flying Fur, because of the whole uniqueness of the concept. It's on the road, it's visible to people, it's more and the fact that because we are, say, limited in capacity, I can only serve an X number of clients in a particular day. I don't, if I have a waiting of say 7-8 days, I don't need to do marketing. So from uniqueness, that helps you in terms of understanding whether people want it or not. It's also a challenge. I mean, if you want to come up with a very unique product, you might not, if people have not really experienced it before, it might work, it might not work. It's important to do your research. It's important to understand that there is enough need of a new product, because sometimes what happens is that when you have an idea, you kind of you romance on it too much, to, I mean, kind of say, you feel that okay, there is a huge market, but you really need to do your research, understand, and then only kind of start executing on it.
Rohan sir, what about you? How did it pop up in your brain that this is something that you want to work upon?
So, firstly, I think Weber, you got it bang on, right? I think while there is a benefit in being different, I think what's more important is how you do the thing differently, or more efficiently. I think you worded it very well. And there's this entire sort of, because it's so cool to be innovative and all this entire hype on innovation and coming up with something amazing, and that has merit, that has value too. But also know that as you succeed in that, even if it's innovative, you will have 10 people who come up with those products, right? And they won't have the research and development costs that you have incurred, because you've already done the hard work. When we launched Ace Blend, then Ace Blend is one of our businesses which we own. There was so many and started doing well, and there was so much competition that came up in terms of Plix and Olina. I'm sure Nishkarsh knows some of these brands already, and we weren't even the first plant-based protein powder. There was ones that were there before us also, but we added ashwagandha and certain sort of things to make it more exciting. But if you get it successful, there are going to be 10 people who copy you anyway. So I think the larger thing is, how do you do it in a better way, more efficiently? How do you build that amazing relationship with your customers? How do you create a moat for your business? I think Weber answered it well. As for us, how we started, I unfortunately don't have a very inspiring story. We just had someone, as I mentioned, one of my friends wanted a website, e-commerce website, so we made it for him. Then another friend wanted another e-commerce website, so we made it for him. Then another friend wanted a fashion website. She had a fashion store. So before we knew it, sort of we were in, the business of it there, and that's amazing too. Sometimes it's great to go with the flow also, because at least for us, I think the best things have just emerged. It's just happened on its own without any big business plans there. That's been our story. But there have been other stories where people have come up with an idea, written a business plan, and sort of made it very successful too. So there's no one formula to it. I guess it's sort of, everyone will have their own story, and you got to see what your story is.
Right.
I would actually add to the point of having a unique idea. So whenever someone in their entrepreneurial mind, they start on having a unique idea, I'm just gonna give you an example. We usually think there what idea should we think of? There are already a lot of people working on some particular idea. So I was reading about Elon Musk. I'm sure a lot of people know about it. We actually think that big government agencies are doing their work well. So I'll tell you something. NASA, I'm sure everyone knows about that. NASA somewhere makes a rocket about $1.3 billion. When Elon Musk was passionate about making one that would land on moon, he did it somewhere around 230 billion or 300 billion. I don't know the exact figure, but the thing is, he knew that it could have been done better. So first, when he wanted to make that, he went to the Russians. They also quoted him somewhere around a billion, but he knew that if he brings along his team, he's gonna do that exact same work in a very less amount. I'm not gonna explain how he did all the cost reduction. Basically, he had all the manufacturing in one place. He didn't purchase or outsource anything from anywhere. So the thing is, a company like NASA, who has employed the best scientists and everything, and this guy who around that time was working on his own money from PayPal and everyone, he made that same thing in such a less price that now NASA has given him the tender to making a lot of rockets. So if you think you're passionate about something, you can pick up best. You can take Facebook as your competition and make something out of it. So yeah, don't just get worried about unique idea. If you're passionate enough, you can build something which can beat Facebook.
I think this is very new for me. Like I have always thought about entrepreneurship is something where you bring a new product in the market, but it's not always about that.
Yeah.
Actually, we had a question on the chat box. Project, could you unmute your mic and ask?
So, Nishkash sir, this question is for you. As I have been also planning to start something in the FMCG business. So I wanted to ask, what is better? A person who is like behind the shadows and doing all the work, or building a brand around oneself like you are doing? You are promoting yourself as the face of the brand and also showing people that yes, it's me who has made this. So you can rely upon that this is a good product. Or it should be something that I would be behind the curtains and then doing all the work and leave the marketing or the face value of the brand to someone else.
Okay. The technical answer to this would be obviously you build a brand around you. It's a good PR that I'm a very fit person. So obviously the ice cream I'll make will definitely be good. So that's the technical answer. But is it the feasible one? First of all, I'll give you an example of the best PR strategy. So we've known Patanjali as a brand who's grown immensely in the short span, but understand Ramdev has been making a PR image of him way before. So it adds to the credibility. So technical answer, yes, it's good to build a brand around you. But the thing is, when you're an entrepreneur and working on a bootstrap, your own funding, you are indulged in a lot of business and a lot of stress that you actually don't push yourself too much. So I'll tell you, I also have to handle operations, supply, accounting, everything. So when it comes to the point of doing the advertisement or PR, actually I am setting all the photo shoots and everything, all the graphic designing. It's my idea. So before I can jump onto the set and click a photo of myself eating an ice cream, I'm so exhausted. I'm like, okay, let's just hire a few models. I just don't have the thing is, somewhere in the future, when I have people to take over different department, obviously I'm going to use my face as the PR. But in the building stage, understand that if you go into like all on your own, you have to delegate work. So my idea is also to automate a lot of process, and then maybe I can use a PR. Also, I'll give one more example on this. It's a bit contradicting example. So suppose if I automate all the processes and decide behind every ice cream, if I pose myself as the model who's eating ice cream, understand that somewhere down the line, when I invest into other companies and I don't get the time to create my own image, people will expect me to be on every cover of an ice cream. So if you want to make your brand scalable, make sure you bring in more people. So to some extent, my PR would work. But if, for example, I'm Nike, I won't only rely on Messi. I would also want to have Cristiano Ronaldo on board. So to some extent, it helps. But yeah, not to?
I had another question for all the panelists out there. So I'm a Bengali. I belong to a very class kind of family. So in our circles, it's basically taboo to get into business. We are more meant to the intellectual side of things. We are meant to study or research or whatever it is. So I really don't understand how to break the shell of the taboo around the business. That why couldn't we go around? Because it's like, even whenever I go to my parents to pitch something that I have thought about, they are usually like, no, you're not meant for this, you just have to get to a good degree and become a corporate slave rat or something.
Let me take that up, if it's okay. See, I think it's not really about a taboo of specifically whether it's from a particular state or ethnicity that you come, whether you can do a business or not do a business. I think parents come from a different standpoint in terms of I mean, getting you your education before you want to start something. It doesn't really harm for you. I mean, I think like Rohan, Nishkarsha, and we pursued our education initially, and then subsequently got the right skills, and then when people around you also have the confidence, it is you can definitely start off better. See, there are always going to be different kinds of people. You'll always have someone like a Ritesh from Oyo who started off at 17 and built something and stuff like that. But if you really look at it globally, it is always the entrepreneurs who start slightly later, who've had that kind of an experience that they have from organizations and maybe certain other things. To then that will help you build an organization much better. You will have much more understanding. And I think at that point in time, once you're able to get your education sorted and get maybe start working somewhere that you like, and then subsequently pursue, I think it shouldn't really be a problem at that point in time. I think
I
entrepreneurship is something you
actually
should
don't
always.
know. Okay, yeah.
Sir, you're not audible. No, you know you're not audible. Could you actually remove your earphones and try again? We can't hear you.
Is it just us?
No,
No,
we
also
can't.
can't hear.
I think there's some audio lag or
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I think there's some issue with the internet connectivity. So I think you can build on skills simultaneously, and then I think you can. That's my personal opinion. I mean, I think people can add on that.
If I can add on that, I don't know what your exact equation with your parents is, but I'll tell you a very simple thing. Very simple thing. Usually, money speaks. As simple as that. I have friends who wanted to get into photography, but their parents weren't allowing. But as soon as they started making money, they were getting somewhere around 50, 60K. They're like, okay, it's okay now that you're making money, it's good. I know people who got into influencing, modeling, they were not supportive initially, the parents, but as soon as you make money, I don't know if the same situation with your parents, but usually when the money flows in, actually nothing actually matters. I should be saying this. I have a cousin who wasn't that good at his school grades. He didn't used to score well, and everyone used to think, okay, he's not good enough, but now he's making good money, so everyone like, okay, he's the good one in the family. So if you're making enough money, everyone sees reasons, but I don't know if that's the equation with your parents.
Yeah, actually I'm also like, I'm just waiting for a good laptop or something so that I could get into these graphic designing. I already do video editing, and so I am planning to build like fund myself by freelancing.
Uh, just small suggestion, just small suggestion. Yeah, wait for your good laptop and fancy stuff, but understand, just go on YouTube if you have access to, or even there are apps such as Canva. Just start making that. You get a sense of it, and when you get that laptop, carry it forward. But do not wait for the jogging shoes to start your fitness routine in the morning.
Actually, I'm like doing video editing since the last 2 years, so I have a
Okay.
fair idea of what I'm
Okay,
expecting.
okay. Then it's good.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to our next question, which is, how did you strategize your business in order to cater to the crowd in your respective cities? Rohan sir.
So I can answer that question in terms of countries, if that's okay, because I mean, in India we work. There is a little bit difference of working with North, South, East, West, but it's largely the same because I guess we work with corporates there, and there's a certain corporate culture to it. But maybe if it's interesting, I can just share how it's different working with, Emirati in Dubai with a Jew in New York, and that has been one of the biggest gifts of learning and experiences, for me there. Like while in India, I think, and I may be overgeneralizing a bit, and there will always be outliers there. The macro sort of way of how sort of we as Indians perhaps do things is that we don't want to be the first person to try generally, and there will always be outliers there. So when we had come up with this innovative product called Zozolo, which is amazing, basically you can shop on Facebook itself. That's what the product does. It's an application where you could sell all your products right on Facebook itself, and this is in 2010. So obviously now a lot of new features and all have come, but way back there was nothing like that then. So we built it for the Indian market. But there were a few brands like Dell and Mumbai Indians who sort of did take it, but largely, most brands were waiting for somebody else to take it. And then Myntra, which I'm sure most of you guys know, sort of took that product, and then that led to, a series of brands taking it. While in the West, in New York, like they want to be the first because that's cool. It's cool to be the first. So they are more of risk takers, I would say. There than at least in our experience with being the Indian, an Indian client there. And in Dubai, for example, I think it's so much like if in a Singapore office, we learned that in India here, you send an email at 12 o'clock. You can't call people at 10 o'clock at night, but you can send an email. I remember once I sent an email, or one of my colleagues, actually Valentina, the one who's leading off, she sent an email to a client post 7, and the client said, you cannot send me emails post work hours, even emails, right? Because email is something you can just see later and tomorrow, right? So it's beautiful how each culture is different and how you've got to sort of evolve to each, culture there. I think that has been extremely interesting, for me. When you're working with Jews, you can't work on Saturdays because they have Sabbath there. So they don't touch anything that's electronic there. So that's like a day that you cannot send emails, you cannot make calls there. So sort of adapting to these different geographies has been sort of one of my biggest great fortunes and learnings. But maybe Nishkarsh or Vaibhav will have a better answer to this because they're again into the products business, and I'm sure each market would be different. So I'd love to know what they feel on the question.
Yes, actually, Nishkarsh sir and Vaibhav sir, you both have your enterprises in Delhi. So how has it been to cater to the market of Delhi itself for your particular business?
Okay.
If any of you could tell us.
Okay, so my thing was an ice cream, and it can't be delivered way too far without incurring sufficient cost. So one more thing about entrepreneurship is, even if you have a similar idea, you have to understand what is an industry problem. Because when you make that pitch, you have to pitch on that. So what I realized was, usually people take ice cream from Mother Dairy and nearby places, but they have to go to the booth. So the thing is, this is how it works. It's Mother Dairy, they have distributors, and then they have booths, milk booths. So that is how usually people go and collect the ice cream from them. So what we propose that we will deliver it to your home, and we'll open a line of credit. So that was our pitching point, that we'll offer you comfort. Whenever it's something you're offering, it's also the product and the service. Our service was, so why would you go down and get your ice cream? If it melts, you'll have to, all that stuff, you understand. So we offered a service which is convenience. So that's one way we captured a lot of our customers.
I think that's also very similar to Weber sir, since he has a mobile van going on. So convenience, it comes there as well, right sir?
Right. Exactly. I mean, it is convenience that you were trying to sell to the customers, and you were charging them a premium. So it was kind of letting them experience it for the first time, maybe at a lesser price, give them a good discount, because it's a new service and you really want them to experience it first, and once they do, and then you would kind of hope that you are that the entire experience that you delivered was worthy enough for a repeat client, and you quite successful in kind of doing that. So I mean, to change the kind of mindset for the customers, we had to give them the service which was more than at a similar price that they would do at a stationery salon where they had to go and take and everything. But because the experience was much higher, then we could, on the next service and a repeat client, try and charge them a premium on that.
Right. So, what about competition? So, we understand that in today's day and age, competition, you just can't, it happens in every single field. There is no field which hasn't been explored yet. You cannot suddenly open up a monopoly in your particular field. So, how has it been dealing with the competition in your respective fields? So, I understand that, Rohan sir, since your business is expanded internationally, you might have a lot more competitors with respect to Nishkarsh sir and Weber sir, because their enterprises are right now limited to only India. So
No, I
how?
would think they would have a lot of competition too. I would think, because competition can be local and can be global also there. But to answer your question, I think to start with, I was I think Nishkarsh or Weber mentioned it. I think Weber mentioned it that, sometimes you want to sort of keep your idea and not share it with the world there, because you think it's so unique. And I would always look at competition as the enemy there, but that is such a limiting sort of way of looking at it, right? And I think 2013, as as I sort of changed and my sort of confidence, increased, what I started doing is actually inviting all my competition for breakfast. So I would have this diary. I managed this sort of to-do list kind of thing. So every 2 weeks, I would send an email out and saying, "Hi, I've been meaning to write this email to you, and I would love to just have breakfast with you." And I used to call it, "I would love to break bread with you." I used to love the sound of that term. And most of my competition are now friends, and it's great. We learn from each other. And of course, some people are more secretive than others, and all that is there, right? It's not all the same. But I think that relationship is so healthy now, because sometimes when I'm hiring someone who's working from his team to my team, I can do a ref check now directly, right? There, or a client that was working with a certain agency and now is working with my agency, I can again do a ref check in terms of what were the challenges you face while serving this particular client there. Or if you have any other problems in terms of, an operations problem or problem with some computer licenses or something, sort of, it's opened up doors where you help each other. And that is the reason, like, that has also helped us acquire the companies we acquired, because these were all competition actually, but we kept friendly terms with them. And that is why that definitely played a role beyond the commercial aspect of the acquisition, of why they chose us, to sell out to us, transfer their clients to us, transfer their employees to us. Red Digital was an acquisition made in 2013. So a lot of our current clients, such as Dell, and even earlier Mumbai Indians and all, they were part of the Red Digital teams and our clients. But more importantly, people who were part of their staff, who are now part of our staff, are now playing very senior roles in our company here. So one person, Harish, just completed 7 years with us last week. We just completed 7 years of the acquisition, and he's been there since. So again, I get it back to the ROI, or return on investment of culture, or even just being cordial, being good. I think these things don't get sort of spoken about enough in MBA colleges and on entrepreneurship books. I think there's a great benefit of just being likable and being a nice human being, or the best human being you can be. And I wouldn't want to buy an ice cream from Nishkarsh if he was this angry guy, but because he has a smile on his face, that's another reason I would buy his ice cream over another person's ice cream. And I'm sure the same for the pet grooming business also, because you want to associate with people that you like, maybe not at a conscious level, but definitely at a subconscious level there. So yeah, that's my thought. I hope I answered it.
Before we move on to Nishkarsh sir, I think Rohan sir, you have to leave by 4:45. So can we have a last question?
Sure. So you want me to answer? Sorry.
So like since you have to leave early, could we just ask you the last question and then?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
So we just want to know about what are the things that did not work or that you learned from, like, so, or if you could reframe it, if you could go back in time, what is the one thing that you would want to change?
I wouldn't want to change anything because I love all the mistakes that we've made and all the failures that we have had. I think that story is special, but I get the essence of your question in terms of maybe what are the learnings or what are the failures that we have made. One I shared, right? I thought we grew too soon. There was this entire, I think Nishkarsh spoke about it briefly when he said, everybody wants to be famous and big. So for us, it was that drive of being, in all the continents and being a global advertising network, there. So that is why we scaled up really fast, but we weren't internally ready for that growth. That growth was, and revenues were up, all these countries were profitably working around, but internally we couldn't handle that growth, and it was coming at the cost of our culture. So where, people were not as happy as they used to be, because when you have so much, you have 100 units of mind space. Now, when you're putting it with your clients, it's going away from somewhere else, right? We don't have unlimited time and unlimited mind space there. And culture is one thing that doesn't take care of itself. So we started losing a lot of people. I remember I'll share a story where we had just started a Dubai office. A lot of my time went in sort of building it, right? Because like building any business, it takes a lot of bandwidth. And I wasn't paying attention to my team enough back in India. And this one guy, Mihir, his name is, and he wanted to move out because he wasn't happy. And I remember the day this 2013, he's in my cabin and he was crying. He said, I thought I would grow old in Gozo, but I just don't feel it anymore there. And that was a big lesson for me there, where growth is good, but you also have to be internally ready for growth. Because then, shortcuts cost you something. Maybe not now, but in the future. For us, it cost us our culture and that sort of pride we had on the, Gozo culture that we had created there. So it's good growth and there's bad growth, right? So keeping an eye on how your growth can be sustainable, right, while not sort of, jeopardizing the other things of what you have built is very important. So that was one of my sort of biggest lessons there. Secondly, I'll just add that, don't even get too sort of, passion is good, but there will be days, and it all sounds very exciting, but there'll be days that you don't want to go to work. At least I face those days many times. So what I've realized is beyond passion, there has to be purpose. There has to be a purpose of why you're doing this, right? I'm sure all of us have siblings, and there are days that you don't want to see their face, right? But that doesn't mean you go and sort of move out of the house, right? Because there's something much more deeper going on beyond that like and dislike, of that momentary like and dislike there. So I've always felt that having a purpose. For Nishkarsh, I think it is purpose of creating this ice cream which is healthy, which I think is an amazing purpose to chase. And for for the pet grooming business, it is more about sort of making it more accessible and better, which is Webhub's business there. For us, it is how do we help brands and businesses win in this new world, which is the digital world and now the post-corona world, right, where digital is even going to become more sort of critical and important there. So that has been my learning. There are days where I don't want to go to office, and I want to very honestly tell you that there are days where I don't feel passionate to go to work. Not because the work is good or bad, but I'm just not in the mindset, and that's where purpose becomes the motivator for me. So yeah, these are two of the learnings that, and I'm sure there are many more. I have made more mistakes and more failures than we have succeeded for sure. It's just that when we put out on PR, we only speak about our successes there. So also don't get very fooled by what you read, online, because it's easy to speak about the good, right? Like social media, you'll put up great pictures about yourself. You're not going to put a picture about yourself when you have a bad headache, right? Right, Carrie? You put the best pictures that you sort of can put out there. So don't be fooled by that. And that's where it helps, I think, reading a lot of books. Like, Phil Knight, the founder of Nike, has written this book called Shoe Dog. I would really encourage all of you all to read it. There's this book called Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson. That was one of the first books on entrepreneurship that I read that sort of got me excited on entrepreneurship. Jack Ma's story of how he formed Alibaba, how he built Alibaba, is a fantastic book to read. And these books are honest because they speak so much about the failures there, and then it makes it more real. And I think the failures make your entire journey even more beautiful. Yeah. So those have been some of the things that are coming to my mind right now that I wanted to share. But yeah, thank you. But I would love to listen to Nishkarsh and Vaibhav, and then I will take my leave. So I'm waiting to hear from them on the same question.
All right, Vaibhav sir.
So yeah, I mean, when I left KPMG and I joined the boutique firm, I actually was so it was my father's firm that I had joined. It's a fairly large firm that they built. I wanted to get. They had their own set of clients, corporate clients that they were working with. I was very. I started the whole the startup vertical. Wanted to offer services at next price, want to do everything, all the clients that were coming in. I think one of the learnings that I got at that point in time was that when you're doing something, it is very important to identify the right market that you're wanting to cater to, because you'll always have people wanting services. Like when it's a services client, you'll have someone who's offering it at $1,000 to up to a lakh or 2 lakhs, I mean, whatever the kind of cost is. So you'll always have that kind of a parameter attached to it. And also, I mean, to understand what is the fair pricing for yourself, to kind of also value yourself and your time as when it comes to as a professional. So I think it is important to kind of identify the market and kind of try and have a better understanding of the product also that you're selling to that market, and stick to it. I mean, there are a lot of low hanging fruits that you kind of would kind of get into, but understand whether whether that will define your organization subsequently. So that is something that I learned early on, that it was important to, even when I started flying for, I mean, when we wanted to increase our pricing, I was quite scared of the fact that, okay, we're already priced about 50% higher than what our competition is, and you want to again increase the price of 20%. But then you really identify that you need to communicate the why you're a better product, why you're a better service, and stick to that. And don't be kind of afraid to do that.
All right. Nishkarsh sir, what about you?
Okay, believe me when I say this, whenever someone I'm listening to who's at a certain age and he says that there wouldn't be a change, I would like to change, I always used to think, how is it possible? Like, how have you made no mistakes, or why do you don't want to change this? Because I'm still in my early stages of entrepreneurship. I always used to think, if I could have gone back this, I could have gone back this. But now, somewhere I've started realizing that I also wouldn't want to change anything. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to connect it with the Netflix series. So I was watching the series called Dark. I don't know how many of you have seen it. So there's this thing of cause and effect. So I'll tell you what, if I could have gone back and changed one particular thing, then today I have the knowledge of how it is wrong. If I wouldn't have made that mistake, I could have made that mistake now at the age of 26. So there are a lot of mistakes I'm going to make right now also, because I didn't make them earlier. So I'm glad that even at this age I've made these mistakes, so I'm not going to make them again. So if I go back in time and remove them from the timeline, I might end up making those same mistake when I'm 30. And at that stage, I doubt I'll have that same emotions to be able to manage it. So I also won't change anything. I'm glad that I made all those mistakes. But if I have to just answer your questions, I keep on telling you that chase every opportunity. As long as I can remember, I've taken up all the opportunities in my past. So I'll tell you one small example of how you should do everything. So there was a time I used to design all my creatives. I took up graphic designing, and it took at least 8 hours of my day, when I could have spent that same amount on getting more business, getting more money. So that was a bad thing that I did it on myself. But the thing is, now when I finally have a graphic designer, because I've spent that much time, I know how much effort he's making. So I'm grateful to the work he's doing. Plus, I can guide him better, that I've done this before. This is how you should do it. So actually, I won't regret anything. And yeah, I actually won't regret anything. If I regret something, I would make that mistake in the future.
That's actually something that we learned in our school as well, the cause and effect relationship. in while we were studying business studies in school. So our next question actually for Weber sir and Nishkash sir, since you didn't answer, how did you strategize your business in order to cater to the crowd in your respective cities? So Delhi.
Strategize your. Okay, I thought that was the question about the competition because I think we already strategize in a way.
The competition, yeah.
Okay, so for a long time, again, since I'm in the early stages of my entrepreneurship, I was afraid what if some other brand comes up with a whey protein and he has better funding, he'll take my business away. But recently, I've been studying about these laws of branding. So, do you understand? I'm going to give an example in this as well. Whenever there is a McDonald's, there always will be a Burger King nearby. And if we go more locally, I know a lot of students are international. Let's say Karol Bagh, it's a place in Delhi. It's known for clothing. So all the clothing shops are nearby. Nehru Place is software. The thing is, if there's a lot of competition, at least that area will be known by that respective. So people, when they have to go shopping, they'll go to Center Market, and if they don't want to buy from this particular brand, they'll buy from this. So suppose I decide I don't want any competition in my area, and I open up my ice cream shop in a completely remote area. That area is not known for its ice cream, so people won't come there. So somewhere down the line, competition also helps. In my case, although it's pretty much a unique idea in India, whey protein, there's not a lot of demand of whey protein ice cream. So if I introduce this category and I have to educate people about it, all my Facebook ads is going to be about how whey protein is good for you or whey protein ice cream is good for you. But suppose I have a competitive brand. There are a few brands of whey protein ice cream away. So they already did some of the PR activity for me. Like they did tell me that they have promoted the idea of a whey protein, and I will just be another brand. So there's just one thing, and understand, if it's a pie chart, you can't imagine of having that 100% or even 99% of that market share. So understand, competition is healthy unless the market is way too much saturated. So you should actually cherish the competition. Just make sure you have some USP that segregates you from your competition.
Right.
So yeah, competition is good. And although I just have to talk about this one last thing, there is one thing called first mover advantage, but don't keep it on a pedestal. Okay, that he started it first, I have no chance. Believe me, that's not the case. If you do it well, you will surpass them. But always cherish your competition.
All right. Weber sir, what about you?
So yeah, so in terms of applying for the mobile pet grooming business, it was important for us to kind of cater to a specific area, do the maximum clients in a particular radius rather than cover the entire city in one day, because that would kind of reduce the number of appointments that you're doing, because you only have say 12 hours in a day. You would want to minimize your travel time and increase your service time to be able to get the maximum benefit out of it. And we realize that who our target audience is. I mean, in terms of because it is geography centric, you wanted to go to the areas that are that have a higher capacity in terms of their spending power. So we kind of strategize in that sense that we have to be seen in particular areas. We had our referral schemes because this is a service that is very close to heart of a lot of pet parents. They treat them like their children. So it was more, if you have referrals, it was better. We took up the whole idea of influencer marketing. We got a lot of influencers to kind of market for us, which gave in, because it was a service style business, for them to kind of utilize the service. It really brought on a lot of confidence in a lot of people to kind of take it up. We didn't want to spend too much digitally because our the pricing that we had for our service and the kind of revenues and the profits, but the margins are not that big. So if you spend a lot of money on acquisition on online, it would not really help you kind of on a month to month basis. And I'm someone who looks at numbers very carefully on a every month to month basis. So that is something that we did look at every month's performance, see what is working, what is not working, and then take it forward from there. I personally think that that's my personal opinion, that for any business, if you want to really make it successful, it is important to kind of stop at every month or every week, depending on the kind of business that you are, and look at your performance. It is important to evaluate. I mean the numbers in a categoric basis, because see, I think is with Indian entrepreneurs or businessmen of erstwhile, they would know their numbers by heart, right? Even what is owed to who, what is supposed to be coming, they would know their numbers. But I realize that when you put them in a particular format, you see the numbers month on month with each other, you start and realize, okay, this strategy worked, this did not work, I should put in more money here. And that I think is a very important portion when you're trying to do your business and kind of regularly evaluate. I think that also comes from the fact that I'm a chartered accountant and offered it as a service to a lot of other people. But I realized and understood the importance of a lot of entrepreneurs that I worked with, of what they gave to that. Like the example I'll give you, I mean, 91 Springboard, which is now at about, I think, 40 co-working spaces in India. When they started off, the four co-founders there would spend about 8 to 12 hours in one day. Right from the morning, we'll spend the entire day looking at their monthly performance, and that is where they realize, okay, this is what it needs to be done. And that is how I inculcated that practice in me. And I realized that I feel that that's really important for you to kind of strategize, execute, and then succeed subsequently.
Right. Okay.
So I think it's the last question since we don't have time. So to what extent do you think your educational background helped you in your business?
Anybody could answer
Yeah.
first, since we've got students from grade 6 to 12. That's what they're wanting to know most. What are we learning in school? Is it useful or not, or should we drop out of school? Anyone? Nishkar sir, I think you're the youngest out of the lot over here, out of the three guest speakers. So could you tell us?
Okay. So I had I'm very, I usually analyze a lot of situation. So the time when I got into the business, while other people were getting into their jobs, I had people who studied in IIM, SRCC, and I used to reach to them and I was like, okay, you got your jobs. How much of your education is helpful? So I always wanted to get an idea of that. Somewhere I got an idea of 15 to 20% of what they study is being applied to their job. So that was the thing when I asked my corporate friends. It's a small sample population. I'm going to talk about myself. So I'm doing a family business, and I've done in school commerce with maths, and in college I've done economics. So while I was getting into the business, so everything I've studied, it made no sense at first. Believe me when I say at first, because I had to get into a lot of different matters, operations, how to tackle with labor. So we have to talk with them and make the work get done. So this wasn't extensively taught in our theory books because we were never made to do those practical assignments. So for the first 2 to 3 years, I thought whatever I've studied is a waste. It's not gonna come in handy. But now I'm at a stage I wanna expand. So when I have to expand, I'm gonna think of all the business strategies. So I actually opened my 11th class business communication book, and I started checking out, okay, this is what I have to get into. So somewhere down the line, hopefully if you're doing the career choices in the same field as your education is, I took a lot of decision based on my school knowledge. So while I was gonna set a price on my ice cream, I realized that the market I am is although not a monopoly, but it's somewhere of a monopolistic competition. So the thing with ice cream is, since it has a lot of difficulties with terms of deliveries, you see a lot of clothing brands which can open up and close because they trade printed t-shirts. But when it comes to ice cream, there's not a lot of free entry and exit, since you have to set up a huge plant before you start with an ice cream. So there are not a lot of competition players. So I realized that somewhere down the line, I can make the prices go above without even thinking about the price. So bottom line I'm saying is 20 to 30% you can expect your education to come handy. So, but at the same time, since I was a studious kid, I understood what a monopolistic competition is. If you're just completing your education to just get mugging up stuff and getting 70, 80, 90%, it's not going to help. Even if you get 60%, but if you get your concept clear, it's going to help a lot more than just mugging it up and just, throwing it up on the paper. So it's going to help a little bit. 20 to 30% is my idea.
Rohan sir, what about you? What was your educational background?
So I did my I did science in 11th, 12th, and I scored very well. I got like 98%. So I'm as much as a geek as Nishkarsh in that sense. And then I did my Bachelor of Management Studies because I knew I wanted to get into business, because had I continued in engineering or something, I think the normal way is engineering or doctor and then you take a job. But because I knew I wanted to do business, that's why I got into Bachelor of Management Studies. And the funny part of it is that I thought the full form of BMS is Business Management Studies until I joined it there. But that's another story there. To answer the question, my thinking was that what we study in school, sort of, how does it matter when the Battle of Panipat was fought? How is that going to help me? How is trigonometry going to help me, when I'm running a business there? But what I've come to realize, it's not about the history, but when you're learning history, you're sort of exercising the memory part of your brain, and you're developing the memory part of your brain, right? When you're studying something like math, you're developing the logical, your left brain. You're developing that. You're exercising the left part, the left hemisphere of the brain. When you're doing art, right, you're again exercising the creative sides of your brain. And what is entrepreneurship but sort of a lot of self-management, right? Everything we do is sort of, is a function of the brain. So while it may not help when the Battle of Panipat was won, or trigonometry, or, or whatever these formulas are, I think there's a meta sort of exercise that happens to your brain, which develops your personality, and then you implement that in your work. So it's not a direct correlation, while there will always also be a direct correlation. For example, I've realized that the basics of writing a good email, like our entire Dubai operations, we didn't know anyone when we went to Dubai. We just wrote 100 emails to different businesses, and a few of them replied. We got a few meetings, and that's how we set up our Dubai office. But those emails we wrote, the words we chose are very nice. And that's your, that's your literature and that's your English lessons there. So I think the lessons of schools help you indirectly and directly. So in my opinion, you should definitely complete your education there. However, what I feel a lot of people do, and what my friends did, and even what I was going to do, is I gave my GMAT and I scored a 740, which is a very good score. But then I had a choice. Like my dream university was Stanford, and I wanted to learn business in Stanford. And I got a good score. I had good sort of, because of JP Morgan, and I started my business, I had a good sort of profile to get into Stanford. But then I thought, am I going to spend, 1 crore of rupees over 2 years, or should I just build my business, and get that real experience that Vaibhav and Nishkarsh spoke about? And I found more value in the latter there. While there's a lot of merit in going to Harvard and Stanford's, but I think unless you come from a super rich family, you're going to have to pay back that loan. And then your next step is to take a job, right? Because you need a salary to pay back that loan there. And that's a good path for many, but at least if you want to start your own business, I would say there's no better learning than just doing it there. And, going back to that sort of statement that as you build the road is building you, and no Stanford, no Harvard can teach you that. And it's about the small. It's about how you speak to your team. It's about how you write that email. It's about how you speak to your vendors. All these small things you can only learn on job. So yes, complete your education, but think hard before you spend crores of rupees for your, big MBAs there. And not only about the money, right? You're also spending 2 years of your life. So at that part, when I had to decide, I had 3 options. One is do my MBA, spend 2 years. Second is continue running my business and learn. And the third, I thought I would take a gap year. I would just travel around the world. And that is also a great way of doing it, right? You learn so many experiences there. And I felt that was of more value even than the MBA. So do your own thinking. There are these notions that we set, and the world works in a certain way that then you have to do your MBA, then you have to do this. And I think a part of being an entrepreneur is breaking those notions, right? And taking the initiative to doing and walking that road that is not often walked. So yeah, that's my sort of overarching feel on education. I think it's important, but up to an extent.
Excuse my OCD, what's the full form of BMS?
Bachelor of Management Study.
Okay,
I thought it was Business Management Studies.
Okay.
And I wrongly thought that there. Yeah. And someone spoke about this is amazing quote I read that today it's not important to be a PhD, but it's important to be a PhD. Someone who just gets things done. And I love that quote, and I share it with my team many times.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. We're actually very, very grateful to have had you on board. You've given us some really, really good insights into a lot of different things that you've been doing over these years. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Is it okay if I take my leave now? Is that fine?
Just a second. Smith wanted to say something.
Yes, I wanted to thank you, all three of you, Mr. Rohan, Mr. Nishkarsh, and Mr. Vaibhav, to be here with us and sharing your stories. Like, it's so inspiring. This session is called "Who is an Entrepreneur," and it's really insightful to know from a real entrepreneur about their journeys and how did they become what they are right now. And as you said, it's just about doing the stuff and not just planning it. So the main part is the initiator, the one who starts something, like one who implements ideas is what an entrepreneur is. And you guys really, developed on that idea and with your stories. And we are really grateful to have you today. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope the participants learned a lot from you.
Thank you for having us. I think you guys have put up something very, very special, and thank you for listening. And Nishkarsh, Vaibhav, I learned a lot from your stories. So thank you for sharing that. It's really inspiring what you guys have done.
Same to same. I mean, it's been really interesting. Listening to Nishkarsh and Rohan, and also being part of the entire platform for kind of having the ability to talk to kids right now who are in their early classes. I think it's really interesting that these kids have this opportunity, and the fact that all of this is available. And I think a lot of people should kudos to the team who's organized this. And thank you so much.
First of all, thank you so much. And first, I was just building on the thought that it's lockdown right now. So all these great stories we've telling you about, I'm also just sitting at home watching Netflix right now. So just to address the fact, it's lockdown. So yeah, just get a lot of knowledge, but at the same time have fun. For the people who are in sixth grade, if you can start with the entrepreneurship thing, good. But chill, have fun in life, enjoy school as well. And yeah. Thank you for having us.
Sir, I actually personally wanted to add, I am part of the batch of 2020 in terms of students who just graduated from school. It's a very uncertain time for people like us. We've just finished school. We don't know what's going to happen. So I think having this session, I personally feel like it gave me so much depth into now what I am supposed to do in life. And I take so much inspiration from all three of you. You all three have different journeys, different fields, different outlooks towards things. And it's actually been really, really fruitful and productive for me. So thank you so much. We actually have a short question. Yes. Who is it?
Dharam?
Yes, Dharam, what's your question?
So, like, I'm studying right now, but in this lockdown, I have started something new. So, my dad showed me different websites. So now I am working on that, and also I have made some websites, and also on the selling websites where we can sell something. I am sharing some activities. So I have started this, but my mom is telling to leave all this aside and study. So according to your experience, what should I do?
I don't want to get into the family matters, but if you can just find a way to surpass that argument and keep on building those websites. At this stage, when I can hire people to make websites, even I am learning about how websites are made. Not that I am going to make them and earn money, but the fact is, when I know I'll be making a website, I can ask that, okay, I've studied about that. I want to have that thing included. So understand right now, how old are you, Dharam?
I am 11.
Do it. Keep on keep on building that website, and believe me, you will earn more than a lot of well-professioned doctor, engineers, MBA. every good, are you on Facebook? It's been made by someone who's a Harvard dropout. So I understand where your mom is coming from, why she has a opinion about you making websites. I don't know how you tackle your argument with her, but somewhere down the line, just keep on making that website. That is a real life skill in current situation. Education is also important, but please just make that website of yours.
The only thing I could think of when I was 11 is when I'm going out to play cricket, man. It's just unbelievable that you are doing it. I think keep at it, and but still, like Nishka said, first keep focus on your education also. It's important.
Yeah.
Do we have any other questions from any of the participants? Anybody?
I'm
Now-
sorry, Anushka. I'll have to take leave. I'm just caught up. I have a call.
All right,
At
yes,
this point,
yes,
okay.
yes.
I'll be happy to engage with anybody who has questions. They can get in touch. I will love to kind of take it up. Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Thanks. Great talking to all of you. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Vaibhav.
I'll be here for another 5 minutes. If you have any question, I'm happy to help.
Yes, anybody? Come on, now is the time to ask.
Yeah.
Utilize this opportunity. Anyone who has any questions about what you're doing, what you want to do?
Yeah. Any questions except roadies?
Yes.
Cool. I guess everyone they don't have a lot of questions.
Pretty much answered.
Is networking a great skill to acquire? Obviously, how else are you gonna? When it comes to any business, one of the major department is the sales department. No matter if you're in product or service, if all those business, I don't know if you get that messages or not. On Diwali or any other occasion, you get a lot of thank you and all those from the companies. They're trying. Networking is basically brand recognition. If I just WhatsApp you, you somewhere down the line will remember that this person has a ice cream. So next time you have an occasion and you are looking for ice cream, you'll be like, okay, I'll search in my WhatsApp. That person messaged me once. Keep on networking, guys. I'm not gonna have a discussion of how extrovert or introverts are better. Both are better in their own ways. But if you're gonna be into a business, entrepreneurship, you need to have good conversation skill and networking power.
All right. I think we have one more question here in the chat box.
Would being good with wires be a good skill?
Wires as in?
Prisha,
I think she meant words, like as in communication skills.
Yeah.
we could have Prisha.
Okay, damn autocorrect.
So I mean, would be good at putting together wires, making things like, I don't know how to explain it. Would that be a good skill to have?
Okay, she meant wires only. I don't know how, if I'm getting your answer correctly, but let's say if I put the question correctly, putting interlinks or connection between different things, is that good? Is that the question? Okay, I'll tell you what. So I told you that I've got into graphic designing. Now I'm also making an algorithm so that I can track my accounts and operation wells. So the fact is, when you're an entrepreneur, basically there's no specific job for you. So supposedly, if you're in a company and you're the accountant, accountant is your field. Or maybe if you're a graphic designer, graphic designing in your field. But when speaking of an entrepreneur, there's no one particular skill set. That's the thing. You have to be good at everything. So the question about wiring and stuff. So right now, when I'm thinking about what my next post on Instagram is, I'm also thinking what is my next pitch for the client, which I want business from. So the one good thing about an entrepreneur should be multitasking. Was the fact is, right now I'm thinking about what my next Facebook ad is, and at the same time I'll be thinking about what's the next employee I want to hire. So it's a lot of interconnections. If you are able to keep yourself focused, you're probably meant to become an entrepreneur.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I don't think we have any questions left here.
Yeah, and I also have to leave now. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Thank you so much, sir, for spending your valuable time.
thank you.
Thank you. So participants, I hope this was a good experience for everyone. and we've catered to, I think, almost all of your doubts. If you still have any more doubts, you can reach out to us at any point. We could communicate with these people and get them solved. But I hope that this has been a good learning experience for everyone, and that you're taking back something very valuable, and you're going to keep things in mind from this session, because we have.
Also, about the word of the day, today's word of the day is branding. So please make sure you make a note of this, because if you don't remember the word branding, then you won't get the certificate, and you won't be able to fill the form, because it's a necessary part of this presentation. Now we have activity planned for you. You are going to be divided into 5 to 10 different groups, and you have to work on a specific task. My colleagues Anushka and Kyari will let you know about the task.
All right. So basically this activity here, one second. Yeah. All right. So our number of participants that we have right now are 30, which is great. So we're going to be dividing you into 3 different groups of 10 people each, and we'll send you into 3 different breakout rooms. So as and when you're sent into these breakout rooms, we'll give you a particular product. So groups 1 and 2 are going to get the product of sanitizers, and group 3 gets the product toothbrush. What we basically want you to do is you have to think of this as a product that you as a group of 10 people have, and come up with a brand name for your product, come up with a USP, and come up with how these things have to be answered. So what will be your USP? What will be your target audience? Name of the brand and your slogan. And be sure to mention your group members as well. Who 10 people are there in your group?
And so assign one of the person who's going to answer on the once the whole activity is done.
So basically we have this presentation link over here, which we'll be sharing on the group on the chat right now with everybody. So open this presentation. You have a slide that says group 1, group 2, breakout group 1, that way. And we'll tell you who are in which groups. Just give us a minute.
Okay, this is the link. This is the link to the presentation. I'll break you out into 3 groups of 10 people, 8 to 10 people. You have to work on your particular side. You will, as you are broken down into 3 groups, you will have a breakout room number. Make sure you remember that number, and also the participants in your group. Please please make sure that you communicate with each other, and list down all the things which we have asked you to. Okay, I'm breaking you down into 3 different groups. Here you go. Can you all access the groups?
Is it popping up on your screen? Join breakout room number dash.
You could refrain from keeping it as happy hands. It should be rather something like not even related to hands. Like why should
Happy hands is very how do you put it?
Generic.
No, it sounds good. It sounds lovely. Customers might like it.
We can call it soft drops.
Yeah, that's also a good idea. May I request if it's possible for you, maybe turn on your video camera so everyone can see each other.
Yeah.
And because they can provide a source of entertainment, and because people also will be able to afford them.
Yeah, because it's good when you communicate with each other and learn from each other.
Yeah,
it makes sense. So this is group number 2, sanitizer. What you guys have thought of?
Yeah.
Brand name, slogan.
Brand name.
Something which is gentle on your hands. Some slogan related to that.
Makes sense.
I thought about harsh on the germs, but not on you.
Oh yeah, that's kind of funny, and also humor with reality.
Yeah.
Maybe someone can type it down because we can't do so.
Yeah, sure thing.
Yeah, thank you.
Harsh. And then the name.
Yeah, name of the brand. I think you guys have pretty good idea. Like you had 2-3 ideas for the name when I joined.
Yeah. Name could be.
If you're putting that as the slogan, then the name could be Happy Hands, right? Because we decided not to put it if we had the other slogan.
Happy hands and harsh on the germs, soft on the hands.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool.
And it has a lot of H sounds, so that is like,
Yeah.
that sounds even
Where are you
cooler.
guys from? I'm not sure. I think Projit is from India.
Yeah.
And
I'm from Surat.
oh, you're from Surat. Nice. Everyone else, maybe can they hear me? Give me a thumbs up. Okay.
The USP of the brand should be those who are germophobes and have very conscious skincare routine can use this.
What is exactly yours?
Unique
USP
selling
means
point.
unique
We are
selling
so
points.
sorry. Yeah.
What makes you different from your competitors? Like I have this sanitized.
Even I have this sanitizer. One USP which I'm not supposed to tell you guys anything or give you clues, but then one USP which many of the brands have been using is having a pocket size sanitizer.
Yeah.
Maybe you can type it down.
Pocket size sanitizer.
And then maybe we can add a moisturizing base and some antibacterial thing, because usually the sanitizers that we get nowadays, they're very harsh on hands. So after you apply it, your hands get very
Yeah, makes sense.
Actually, I just noticed the sanitizer I have with me right now sounds similar. Like kills germs, not your hands. So we could keep it as handy hands. How does it sound like? Handy hands.
Handy hands.
Not
maybe,
too relevant
maybe.
not too relevant to the brand. Like it sounds more like a toolkit than a sanitizer.
Okay, target audience. Any idea for the target audience? I think we only have a few minutes.
Target audience mainly teenagers and young adults who are very who have a very bustling lifestyle.
also with sensitive skins, because we are adding moisturizer. So the people
I guess the USP would be, it should be like a flat, like an what you see in the Axe pocket deos, that kind of stuff that you could store it in your wallet or a small pocket in your jeans or something.
Yeah.
I think we should make our target audience children, because in the adult and teens category there's a lot of competition, and since our USP is being gentle on the hands, children are the ones who need the hands to be protected most.
Yeah.
Like
yes,
we
this
could
definitely
keep the-
makes sense.
Yeah. Target audience could be anyone who needs just like
basically right now in this corona crisis, almost everyone is
stuck in their homes. So
yes, but then there's so many sanitizers for adults, but there's less sanitizers for children.
may have fruity flavors. Yeah. If we are targeting children, then it may have fruity
Flavors could also be your USP.
Yeah, I could just type it down. Concerned with it mainly for those who are concerned with the skincare routine. It has unique flavors.
So there's this brand, like I don't know about it, but we could. That's basically like for shampoos and stuff, but we could put it in sanitizers as well. So you can choose the kind of bottle size you need, the products you want to include. Say you have dry skin, so maybe you can add moisturizing substances to it. So basically we can create a website where you can choose what you want in your sanitizer, the properties or everything.
That's not the website is not the primary concern. The target audience and also USP. Less if we are going to sell it in the market, then it matters.
You can choose it by yourself. That is what I'm saying. So basically,
So the brand name shall we zero upon a brand name, because without a brand name, the rest of the brand is just.
Yeah, I think you guys had one name, right? It was pretty catchy. Something with the hands.
Happy hands or gentle
Happy
hands?
hands.
Yeah, sure.
Happy hands
Happy
sounds very. If our target audience is kids, then happy hands sounds very appealing
Happy
to me at
hands.
least. Yeah.
Happy hands.
No,
And the
very
slogan would be
harsh
harsh
on
or
gentle.
this harsh on the germs, soft on the hands. Sound good? Harsh on the germs, soft on the hands. Yes.
And our target audience is kids, so which is why we have bubblegum and chocolate and such interesting flavors.
Yeah. Also, for concerned parents, it would have an aloe vera base.
Oh yeah. What's it called? Sustainable? No. Organic sanitizers. I'm not sure.
Now, sanitizers are already alcohol based, so they can't be organic.
Yeah. In terms of you said aloe vera based. So in terms of the property or the smell or the fragrance which they give.
No, property.
Okay.
Aloe vera also has a healing reagent, so
Yeah,
moisturizing.
keeps the hands moist, retain moisture and not cause dryness. Target audience would be children. Children who are children who are usually careless about their careless about their hygiene, and the smell would attract them to use this more often. Does that sound good?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, usually careless. Who are usually careless.
I think group 3 has the most difficult task because they have to work with toothbrush, which I think is a bit difficult thing to do.
Yeah, because right now especially in Corona period, you have a lot of ideas for sanitizers because you're using them yourself.
Yeah, we use them every day, which is why it's the easiest subject.
So now you also know the problems you face related.
Compel them.
True. Okay, we go back at 5:35 p.m. Indian time.
Yeah. Compel them to use it even further and take allow them to stay safe of COVID-19. Yeah.
Okay, guys, see you in the main room.
Yeah.
I think we had a pretty fruitful discussion in group number 2.
Even group number
one was pretty nice. Yeah. Is everyone here though? Everyone's joining. Okay.
Everyone should be here in a few seconds.
All right.
Yeah, I think everyone's back.
We have 30 participants. We're 25 right now.
Okay. No, I think this is all. Everyone.
Yeah, we could start. Let's go forward with group number 1 first. So who's presenting?
Any one of you can turn on your microphones and present what you guys discuss in your groups.
Okay. I think I can do so.
Yeah.
All right, Victor.
Okay, so should I make it comprehensive or should I just answer the questions there?
Anyhow, it's your choice.
Yeah.
Okay. With the emergence of the coronavirus, of course, many people have been looking for ways in which they can protect and prevent themselves from contracting the disease, which has proven to be quite deadly around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So our group has come up with a sanitizer, and our brand name is Cleaner. Slogan, okay, that's our slogan really. What's our slogan? Sorry. Happy hands. Okay. So, what is our USP? Our USP is that our sanitizer contains a sensor that will detect people's hands, an inbuilt sensor. So, with this inbuilt sensor, it decreases the likelihood of contact with the sanitizing stations itself, therefore decreasing the risk of probably contracting it while you're trying to prevent it by applying sanitizer. And another pro of our product is it will be easy to carry, as it will be small in size, but also containing this, we will preferably have it in fixed stations in public audiences. And now that comes to our target audience, which is hospitals, schools, public transport, places of worship, shopping malls, and other public areas, so that it can be able to help, let's say, a large crowd in preventing from contraction of this disease.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think what everyone is imagining here, like a picture of something like that's a fixed sanitizer in a fixed position where it detects your hands and it sprays automatically with no contact in public places, like public transport, schools, hospitals, such kind of places. So is everyone clear with breakout room number 1's idea? Yes, cleaner with a K. All right, let's move towards breakout room number 2, which also had a sanitizer. So who's willing to volunteer?
So I'm going to present this.
All right.
So our sanitizer is named Happy Hands, and the slogan is harsh on germs, soft on the hands. So we are aiming this sanitizer basically to the children who are quite careless about their hygiene, who prefer to play around in the open. I have a brother who is like that. He has just run out of the house without a mask. So yeah, we are catering to these kind of children. The USP of our product is it's not harsh, and also it contains unique flavors like bubblegum or chocolate, which may sound enticing to children. And this would compel them to use this sanitizer in over and over, unlike other sanitizers, which are mainly harsh and also quite boring, I suppose. That's why we want to emphasize that they would get that good feeling of using a very flavorful sanitizer and also keep themselves safe in this pandemic. So, and also contains an aloe vera base, so that the hands are not it is not harsh on the hands, rather it is very soft and moisturizing, as aloe vera gel is. Hence,
Sorry, I was on mute. Okay, thank you, Projit. We move on to breakout room number 3, which had a toothbrush. Okay, so who's volunteering to present?
All right, so I'm
This
going
was
to
a
present
difficult
Rishita
one.
from breakthrough number 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
Press the button in order to release the toothpaste onto our toothbrush, and we can use it. So we named it OrthoClean, and our slogan is Clean It Easy. And our USP, of course, is because there are no such companies which have come up with this proposition, and this is entirely new to the market. And our target audience will be, it is not really user specified, but it is generalized, which means anybody can take up for it. Although we kept in mind the problems of the travel freaks, obviously because of what I said earlier, but anybody can use it. It is absolutely user friendly.
All right. But are you sure though that there's nobody else who's doing the same thing?
Not that I know of, to be honest.
Okay, fine. So everyone, great ideas. We're actually really happy that in 7-8 minutes you came up with something fresh, and try to rack your brains after this very, very inspirational session. So we'd actually now want to take a leave from all of you. Thank you so much for coming for our session. We really, really appreciate it. There's also one little announcement that we had to make. 1 second.
Another thing which I'd like to say is, please do make sure you fill out the forms which we sent out in these emails, and also read your emails. check your emails every day, because we sent out different emails for the schedule and the new sessions each and every day. We also have a Google form sent. We'll be sending you a Google form which would implicate that you have been attending these sessions, and there might be some questions in it which you have to answer, along with the keyword branding, which you have noted down, obviously. So after you fill up the form, you'll get the certificates in September, all of them together. So that was one announcement from me. I think Carrie and Anushka might have something else to add to it.
We would also, so if you enjoyed today's module and would like to learn more about other topics, email us with your registration number and desired module so we can sign you up for more sessions.
This is actually the schedule for all the other sessions. So who's an entrepreneur with the very first session that we conducted? Others are yet to come.
So tomorrow we have business plan at 5 a.m. UTC. And I think other than that,
we don't have any.
Please do make sure that you convert the time frames which we have given into your personal time zones, because we have noticed that many people didn't understand the schedule which we sent out, because it was in Universal Standard Time, which is UTC. Please make sure you convert it into IST or HKT or whatever time zone you follow, and be there in these sessions, because we have a lot of great speakers planned up for these next modules. And also our entire team is going to present the next section of these modules.
Also, if you would want to say thank you to the speakers personally, you could email the thank you note to us and we would forward it to them too.
So thank you everyone for being there with us. It's been 2 hours, I think, to more than 2 hours, and you've all been patiently waiting here and listening to everybody. So thank you so much for that. And thank you for believing in ED.
One more thing which I'd like to add is, first of all, I'd like to say thank you again. Apart from Carrie and Anushka, what they said, I'm going to thank you again. And also, please do make sure you also read the emails, because after each modules, we will also send out the post-class PDF, which would have all the things which we talked about, and also extra informations about other topic on the similar area. And make sure you fill out the forms which we sent out. Thank you so much for participating, and we hope to see you tomorrow and all the other sessions which we have planned.
Yes. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
And if you have any questions, please do feel free to, hang out right now and ask us anything. If not, feel free to leave. Thank you.